running a little bit behind this morning, so I might speak really fast. Hey everybody, welcome to another Top 10 Tuesday. It's December 1st. And before we get into the top 10 list for this week, let's get some updates from the Stew House. The big news updates from the house is that Liam officially giggled. It was a real giggle. We tried to get it on camera. He did not giggle again, but I sense more coming in the future. And what's great is that Logan loves to make Liam giggle, so if he can figure out what does that, he'll just do it over and over and over again. So to be sure, there will be footage of that happening sometime in the very, very near future. Neither Liam or Logan ended up having to go to the doctor or to urgent care or anything like that. Thankfully, they still have lingering cough, cold type issues, but they seem to have been better yesterday, and we'll see if that pattern continues. And the other pattern that we're hoping actually changes soon is that Liam is fighting hard going to sleep. We keep trying all these different things about should we swaddle him in both arms? Should we swaddle him with only one arm? Should we prop him up a little bit? Should we put this thing near him? You know, it's always a big guessing game trying to figure out what's going to make them go to sleep better and stay asleep longer. So we're still playing that game with him right now. Hopefully we will win. And fingers crossed that he's like his brother who, when he hit 4 months, started sleeping 6 to 6 throughout the night. That was awesome. Because I could use the straight sleep. Yeah, I'm tired. And that about covers it from the house. So on to the top 10 list. This week's top 10 list is TV shows. Now, of course, as always, this is purely subjective. This is just my top 10 list of my favorite TV shows. And this is not exhaustive because I watch a lot of television. I watch a lot of movies. So there's a lot of favorites that I have. But right now, as it stands, these are the 10 that stick out to me. And as usual, these are in no particular order, but I will leave the best for last. And if those people who have been watching me for a while, you regular viewers, you're going to know what's at the top of the list. For those new people, stay tuned, because you'll get to learn a lot about me by that number 1 show. So number 10, MacGyver. I watched the... is that a warning? I don't know how much longer this is going to go. My battery might run out. MacGyver. I watched the hell out of that show. That guy could make anything out of duct tape, bleach, chlorine. He could stop bombs with hockey tickets. And Richard Dean Anderson rocked the mullet. Number 9, House. It was really one of the best TV shows that I can remember where they created such a great anti-hero. Gregory House, the most sarcastic, self-involved character, but yet still had this like huge heart. And really the show turned out to be much more of a bromance than anything else, really between him and Wilson. It's an amazing show, landmark television. The Blacklist, currently on the air. It's really one of those roles that I think James Spader was just born to play, and he does it so damn well. And they've really changed it up for this going into the 3rd season. I think they've done a really good job of shaking up the plot line, shaking up the structure. Unfortunately, I don't get to watch it while it's on the air because I don't have cable, so I have to wait for that to hit Netflix. But then my wife and I kind of binge our way through it. And we enjoy it. So that's number 10, 9, 8, 7. The IT Crowd, the original IT Crowd. It is hilarious. While it was a short run of a show, because that's kind of the way the UK runs things, it is brilliant. And for anyone who has any sort of nerd, geek, humor background, that's the show for you. 6. The Battlestar Galactica reboot. I was really hesitant to even start watching this show because I really didn't like the original Battlestar Galactica, but so many friends of mine were like, no, you have to check this out. You have to check this out. So I didn't get into it until about the 3rd season, and I was amazed. It was so much more dramatic, so much more heavy and real, even though it was based in a sci-fi universe. Just incredibly well acted, incredibly well written. My only caveat to that is the ending of that show is one of the worst in TV history. It's right up there with like Newhart. Number 5, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It was the epitome of kind of Joss Whedon's voice getting out there and saying, I can speak 2 teens, 4 teens at a level that no one's ever tried to do before. And it was just awesome. I loved the humor, the wit, the action, the monsters, the fairy tales, the fantasy. Everything about that show was great. It had a couple shaky seasons, but anything going on for 7 seasons is going to have that. Now, I was never a big fan of the spin-off of Angel, but for those of you who are, good for you. Number 4, West Wing. Now, of course, people who watch this channel know that I'm really into politics, so West Wing is right up my alley. Aaron Sorkin, one of my favorite writers. Again, that show went on for an incredibly long time. I think it was 10 seasons, and had a couple shaky ones. Towards the end, it kind of petered out a little bit. But man, I mean, there were so many of those episodes that when they ended, I would just be like, yeah, like that's what I want in my government. That's what I want people to feel like and be passionate about, talk about. Just amazing work. Number 3, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Now that might seem to some people to be a weird one to choose, but this was a really, really good show. I was never a huge fan of The Cosby Show, and of course now with things going on, a lot of people would just want to block that part of their memory out anyway. But The Fresh Prince just came at the right time for me growing up, and I was a big fan of Will Smith. I thought that the show was really well written. And then when that show ended, when that final episode ended, and Will is standing there in this kind of like empty living room, I bawled. And I mean, there were other connections there going on, not just because it was the end of a show that I liked, but there was a big scene between him and Uncle Phil about him being more of a dad. And, you know, since I didn't know my dad, I was just wrapped up in that. Number 2, Black Mirror. This is less of a TV show, more of like an anthology in a certain respect. There's only 6 episodes out there. There were 3 episodes per season, only 2 seasons out there. And then it stopped being made until Netflix bought the rights to the show, and now they're making at least one more episode that should be coming out later this month. So there's only 7 episodes total. They're basically movies, and they kind of take place in this slightly sci-fi universe where it's just the real world with about 10% more tech. And it's so good. It's so eerie, and it's kind of like Twilight Zone and The Outer Limits kind of pushed to another level. If you haven't seen that, definitely check it out. And then finally, number 1, of course, Doctor Who. The show's been going on for 50 years, and there's a reason. And of course, the reboot has really revamped and re-energized and taken the fandom to a whole new level. But still, it wouldn't be that if there wasn't the basis of this character. The character of the Doctor is one of the most endearing, lovable, adventurous, cantankerous at times, lead characters in television history. The relationships that are built between the different Doctors and the different companions kind of keep the show really fresh and have a way of recycling things and bringing in new fans and keeping old fans interested, and everyone's got their favorite Doctor. Mine's Matt Smith, but David Tennant, love you dearly. You guys are you're so close together in my list. For me, it's Matt Smith only because of the childishness, the kind of real childlike heart that Matt Smith's character had, and that made it really endearing for me. And also the storyline of Rory and Amy and the Doctor, that triangle was also really, really touching to me. So there you go, those are my top 10 shows currently. Let me know what your shows are in the comments down below, or if there's something I should be watching. Thanks for watching another Top 10 Tuesday. Stay tuned for tomorrow, and as always, be good to each other.